ride with, and we are privileged to have been chosen. Hey, asshole, I'm telling you to stop, or I'm driving you off a cliff. Your privileges have been fucking revoked.
They asked me to leave? I was the one reporting the disgusting behavior. Makes no sense.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and I hope you guys enjoyed that little intro with a very exclusive piece of audio that some of you might recognize, since a little bit of the melody is similar to something we heard back in Black Ops 2. Now, some unknown data miners were nice enough to share this information with me when they found this piece of audio just added into the Black Ops 4 PC files around a week ago, and it's going by the name of Love Song Remake. Now, as you guys do know, the Love Song is actually the name of the music that is used in TranZit from Black Ops 2 for both the loading screen music and the game over audio. Now, the way they found this audio is also quite interesting. So, as they were data mining Black Ops 4, they noticed that in the same folder as all of the blackout taunts and gestures is also all of the game over audio for the various zombie maps in Black Ops 4. And just recently, like I said, about a week ago, that piece of audio was added into that folder. So could this be the game over audio for DLC 3 or the next Zombies map? Does this confirm that TranZit is the next map for Black Ops 4 Zombies? Now, you guys might be wondering, well, why do they add game over music into the same folder as blackout taunts and gestures and the audio tied to that? That's currently unknown. Maybe they somehow twist some of the game over audio into various taunts and gestures, maybe some we haven't even seen yet, to where maybe the character you play as can dance to a specific melody that's tied to the game over audio for a zombie map. Now, I want you guys to listen to this very specific gesture that's already in Blackout and is currently locked behind reserves. So here you go. Now, as you guys may already know, that is the exact same audio that plays when you die in a match of Buried. And I think it's interesting because, once again, that audio is found in the same folder with all of the game over audio. So that could easily be used for potential Buried remake or remaster later down the line. And that's already in Blackout, but keep in mind, it's the exact same music from Black Ops 2 Zombies. No twist, no remix, no add-ons, nothing. Might be sped up a little bit for the sake of the gesture, for the sake of the dance, to synchronize with it, but that's about it. When you listen to this new audio, the Love Song Remix, it's an actual remix, a full-fledged version to an extent of the original from TranZit. So I honestly don't believe they would hire their audio team or musicians to come into the studio and put together a remix of the Love Song just for the sake of adding in a gesture or a taunt within Blackout. So when you listen to that, it obviously has to be something big. It has to be there for a reason, and it definitely can't be for something as simple as a gesture. If they added in the original Love Song from TranZit, then I would 100% say that it's for an upcoming gesture that'll be featured in Blackout in the form of a reserve that you have to unlock, or in the form of a special order, or maybe the special order is tied to a new Victis character that's playable, and they just have that gesture conveniently in the special order itself. But honestly, I feel like the game over audio for the various zombie maps are tied to the Blackout gestures and taunts and that audio folder just because it's convenient for Treyarch to say, you know what, we want to make a gesture that lasts about a minute or so, or a gesture that kind of lasts forever with looped audio. So the most convenient audio to put in there is some game over audio that lasts for around a minute as well, so we can easily loop it with the dance that your character is doing. It probably is just convenience for the sake of development within the game, nothing else beyond that. So I think that's the reason why you have game over audio for various zombie maps with gestures and taunts that many of us might not even see or play with, because we don't always unlock all of them through reserves. Only a few buddies of mine actually have that buried gesture that I played on screen. In terms of the story significance and the context of doing TranZit early, I'm not sure what this would mean for a DLC 5, Zombies Chronicles 2. I'm not sure what that would mean. So maybe they changed DLC plans behind the scene and said, you know what, it'd be convenient to do TranZit for DLC 3 for X, Y, and Z reasons. Now, you guys might also be wondering, well, what about Nuketown and all that discussion that's been going on around the zombies community and all those rumors we were hearing before Ancient Evil came out? What about all that information? Well, what I could tell you about that is that little birdie came around and explained to me that Nuketown is definitely still in the cards, but with a twist. If it doesn't release separately, then apparently it might be featured in a bus route B within this TranZit remake, which means Nuketown would be an actual destination in this new version of TranZit. Now, first of all, this will be paying homage to that bus horn we would hear back on, what was it, around 4 or 5 in the original Nuketown Zombies. It pays homage to the map you can see in the bus depot, which lists both a bus route A and B, and the fact that Treyarch originally wanted to make TranZit even bigger with the bus route B, but couldn't due to hardware limitations and time restrictions. So it pays homage to all that, which is really exciting to think about. But the fact that Nuketown is in Nevada and TranZit is a little bit farther from that location obviously raises the question, well, how can a bus go from the TranZit site all the way to Nevada Nuketown? How does that really make sense? Well, what I could say is that 115 temporal rifts could cause Nuketown to be moved closer to the TranZit site, or the TranZit site has been moved somewhere closer to Nevada itself and maybe looks the same and plays the same as the original TranZit, but is just moved to a different location by Nevada Nuketown. Maybe that's the case with how they're going to handle having Nuketown as a part of a bus route B, but I definitely think they can make it work. Maybe you get in the bus and, you know, towards the end of your route in bus route B, it kind of goes through a teleporter or something and leads you into the Nuketown map. Not sure if it's going to be as big as the Blackout Island in the Battle Royale for Black Ops 4, or if it'll just be the original Nuketown size with the bunker and all the underground networks. Pretty sure that's what they're going to do when it comes to this new version of Nuketown for Black Ops 4 Zombies. But what I also think would actually work would be, once you complete the Easter egg, maybe you can unlock the subsections for the sake of survival, maybe some mini Easter eggs and quests as well. So if you beat the Easter egg on this new version of TranZit, you can then unlock survival and these mini quests, maybe even some other game modes like Gauntlet, Turned, Grief, Rush, on subsections like Bus Depot, Nuketown, Farm. That would be a cool reward for completing the main Easter egg, besides an achievement, besides a completion on this new version of TranZit. So once again, take this all with a grain of salt. These plans could have been modified, these could have been changed at the very last minute. We have no idea what's going on. Development seems to be shifting a lot behind the scenes over at Treyarch, and I was also told that the original plan for this DLC season has drastically changed from what it originally was before Black Ops 4 even released, which is kind of upsetting when it comes to taking it from Treyarch's point of view and really looking at how they had a very specific plan for both the Ether and Chaos storyline that just couldn't be fleshed out in the way they wanted to, because now they're working on Call of Duty 2020. So this does beg the question though, what about Zombies Chronicles 2? What about Call of the Dead, Die Rise, and Buried? For all we know, DLC 4 or The Great War could easily be a remake as well of some sort, and we'd be visiting areas like Die Rise and Buried throughout that main Easter egg or something. Or for all we know, after DLC 4 comes out, they'll just release the extra maps they had planned for remasters or remakes and just release that along with gauntlets and rush modes for those maps as well. We just have no idea. But taking TranZit and Nuketown out of the Zombies Chronicles 2 equation is quite interesting, and for a DLC 3, I'd be happy to see that if it's the version of TranZit they originally wanted to make but just couldn't due to hardware limitations and time restrictions back in, what was it, 2011, 2012. That's a map I definitely want to see, even though it'll piss people off for it being a remake as DLC 3. I understand. I definitely understand that, but I'll still be hyped for it nonetheless. And obviously the blueprints on Classified have all been hinting towards something related to TranZit and Nuketown. Obviously they're just paying homage to the fact that Broken Arrow and the United States were all planning development on this TranZit site. Ted the bus driver, the Nuketown bunker, new versions of the ray gun. They were all planning that here in the Pentagon, here in the laboratory. But still, it might be hinting towards something even greater. The fact that we'll be visiting those sites again at some point later on in the DLC season for Black Ops 4. We'll be seeing maybe the real version of TranZit, the TranZit without all the lava, without all the cracks, without the fog and the denizens, the beautiful version, the beautiful site that is TranZit with a fully operating bus driver with 2 bus routes, some massive expansions, a great Easter egg, the map that they definitely wanted to give us back in the day, and they could still pull that off with Black Ops 4. I think that'll be a great way to bring people back who may have left zombies after they weren't interested in the Chaos storyline. Now, the last thing I wanted to bring up was whether or not we'd be playing as Victis or Ultimus. So the original rumor that a little birdie also told me was the fact that we'd be playing as Ultimus in this new version of Nuketown. So maybe, just maybe, if they at least kept that plan for DLC 3, we'd still be playing as Ultimus on this new version of Nuketown and this new version of TranZit, and maybe towards the middle or the end of the Easter egg for this new map is when we'll awaken Victis by essentially turning off their cryogenic chambers that are located at Blood of the Dead. They will then wake up, see dead Primus Richtofen, and somehow a portal will open up and they can then join Ultimus and Primus for the Great War against Dr. Monty. That would be an epic tie-in towards DLC 4, something similar to the end of Gorod Krovi, where you have a pretty extended cutscene and then you have boom to be concluded in, and you have the name of the Great War map. That would be insane to see at the end of this new version of TranZit, if that's the case. Obviously, the drill at Nuketown also powers these cryogenic chambers that are located at Blood of the Dead, so if Nuketown is DLC 3, without a doubt, it's going to be tied into Victis somehow, and you might even get something cooler than that. Maybe midway through the Easter egg, you switch crews and start playing as Victis or something, and move along to a different side of the map to do a different task. It would be insane to see you switch characters midway through the Easter egg, and I think that was definitely the theory as well for the Great War, where maybe you're playing as Primus and you die, and then you switch into playing as Ultimus or Victis so they can prevail and go ahead and defeat Dr. Monty once and for all. But that's about it. This has been dkdynamite. Check all links down below in the description. Once again, take the information about the next DLC map for Black Ops 4 with a grain of salt. Lots of plans are changing behind the scenes right now at a very rapid pace, and you guys definitely know that since obviously out of nowhere Treyarch started developing Call of Duty 2020 and had to really put aside any future plans they had for a Black Ops 4 Year 2 or a second season of content for Black Ops 4. But without a doubt, the audio found in the code is 100% audio for a new DLC zombie map for Black Ops 4, and obviously it is a remix of the love song from TranZit, as it says in the name of the file itself, which is very exciting. But that's about it. Drop all comments down below, and peace out, everyone.